So we will start with a strap. Have your bolster and blanket ready. Then we'll also have a strap on the middle thigh, right? So not all the way to the top of the thigh, but about right about the middle. And then so start with your knees together, your feet together. Strap a little snug, not like super tight, but definitely I can feel the strap. Then let's start like this. Let's start sitting on top of the bolster and then slide down just until the buttocks graze the floor. Then spread the chest open, come down to lie down. And then before you straighten your legs, scoop the buttocks forward. Make sure the buttocks are down. If you have a very fat bolster, you might need to put a blanket under the buttocks. So right now the bolster is on the sacrum, all right? So the bolster's on the sacrum, the buttocks are on the floor, and then stretch the legs out. The strap is creating like a frame for the legs, and you can let the toes roll out. Just look up and make sure that the feet are centered. Make sure you're at the center of your mat, center of the bolster. Sorry, having Wi-Fi issues, but I think everything is sorted out now. All right. So what I was saying before I got disconnected is that when there's a gap between the pelvis and the bolster, sometimes it's better for people who have low back issues or for beginners who are not used to opening their chest. But for seasoned practitioners, if you could get the whole trunk on the bolster, you can get more lift of the chest. And if we're too far down toward the foot side, then the energy drops down toward the hips instead of up toward the heart and lungs. And so how we got in today is a method of making sure that the is lifting into the chest region and not pulling down toward the hips. The strap today is to create a bit of a frame, a structure, an outer structure, so that the prana stays kind of confined and narrow. You know, one of the definitions of yoga is yoking, as in confining. And we don't usually think of yoga as confinement, but actually confinement is an important part of the yoga practice. It's a word that Prashant Iyengar uses quite regularly in terms of ways to work with the body and mind, is to create these confinements. And so the strap is a type of confinement. And so when we confine in one place, then we can feel the effect in another place. And so hopefully by confining the legs, you feel the extra spaciousness in the trunk, particularly the heart and lung region. So today, I invite you to pay attention to the kidney region, the kidney band. And so the kidney band is between the ribcage and the pelvis. It's the back waist. It's the back upper waist. And so in the past few weeks, we've been talking about the inhales as a release and getting larger and more expansive. So feel that widening of the kidney band as you inhale. And then as you exhale, the kidneys move a little bit lower down and a little bit closer together. So as you inhale, the diaphragm pulls down, everything expands, becomes wider and longer. The kidney band also expands, that back waist region expands, getting wider. And slightly lifted, the kidney band slightly lifts as you inhale. And then as you exhale, the kidneys come a little bit closer together and descend slightly. So hold that image of the kidneys as you inhale, as you exhale. Let the inhales and exhales become a little slower, a little softer, so that you can cultivate that awareness. So as the diaphragm moves down, the kidney band widens, it slightly lifts, and as the diaphragm moves up, the lungs empty, the kidney band slightly narrows and descends. So even though the diaphragm is descending on the inhale, there's a bit of a lift of the kidneys as you inhale, traveling with the prana, traveling with the breath. Observing the rhythm, observing the movement of the back body, especially the back waist. Now, on the exhales, so on the inhales, you feel the kidney band widen and slightly lift. On the exhales, pull the outer corners of the shoulders down and the abdomen up and back to see if you can keep the kidney band wide as you exhale. So minimize that narrowing and dropping of the kidneys as you exhale by employing the outer corners of the shoulders down toward the floor and the abdomen moving up and back, and on the exhales. On the inhales, the diaphragm moves down, the lungs fill, the entire trunk expands. With that expansion, the kidneys also lift and grow a little wider apart. And then on the exhales, outer corners of the shoulders, a pinning action, not really muscular, but still intentional. And then the abdomen moving up and back to mediate the exhale, to slow down the exhale, and to keep the kidneys wide and lifted. At the very end of the exhale, you can let the trunk come back to normal, come back to the original shape. So continue in this manner. Slow, soft inhales, slow, soft exhales, developing into the Ujjayi, Bahya Abhyantara Ujjayi, with the awareness of the kidney band. So of course the adrenals sit on top of the kidneys, the adrenals. And so when you bring your attention to the kidneys, which is a little bit easier to perceive than the adrenals, because they're bigger, you tend to be more aware of them. So when you bring your attention to your kidneys, you're also bringing your attention to the adrenal glands. And the adrenal glands play a big role in our state of calmness or our state of excitement. And so having this conscious relationship with the adrenals can help you to monitor your own state of mind, state of body, learn how to stay calm, but also learn how to stimulate if you have a big task ahead. Slowing down the exhales helps to calm the nervous system, helps to calm the adrenals, lower the cortisol levels. The adrenals also play a role in inflammation in the body. And so as we learn how to calm ourselves through the awareness of the breath, then we can also learn how to mediate some of that inflammation and to reduce some of that inflammation when that's necessary. Do 3 more cycles of Bahya Abhyantara Ujjayi with the awareness of the kidneys. And then after those cycles, return to normal breathing. Okay, so after you've returned to normal breathing, then you can fold your hands onto your trunk and then bending your legs, roll to your side. And so let's get ready to do some seated. Now let's keep the strap on, but loosen it a bit. So the strap now will be a little bit wider than hip width, just a little. And then we'll take the legs into Swastikasana. So the strap is still on the middle of the thigh, and then it's holding the legs in Swastikasana. So it's creating a frame of the legs here in Swastikasana. Put it a little bit more toward the knee. It's still on the thigh, but a little bit more toward the knee. And then you can support your legs from underneath. The support will be a little asymmetrical because your legs are asymmetrical, so it's that bottom knee that needs a little support, not as much the top knee. Then you can have your lap blanket if you wish. So today I'd like to explore something. It's known in the science world, it's known as the physiological sigh, and it's a way of regulating the nervous system, regulating the respiratory system, and bringing yourself to a state of calmness very quickly by balancing the oxygen and carbon dioxide levels in your lungs, in your body. And so technically it consists of two back-to-back inhales followed by a long, slow exhale. So actually that corresponds to, in the pranayama framework, it corresponds to Viloma, Abhyantara Viloma, with Ujjayi exhales. So Abhyantara means inhale, Bahya means exhale. So we're gonna work on a Viloma inhale, followed by a slow, soft Ujjayi exhale, as a way of consciously working with the respiratory, circulatory system, consciously working with the oxygen and carbon dioxide levels in our body to create a sense of ease, calmness, well-being. So I'd like to do that with this awareness of the kidneys that we have been working on. And so I'll talk you through the first 3 cycles, and then you'll do some cycles on your own, okay? But first, press your hands down, sit up very tall, and then bring your hands onto your lap, palms up, spread the chest open, balance the head at the top of the spine, and then bring your head down. Chalandara Bandha. There's that same feeling of pinning the shoulders back that I mentioned when you were supine. And there's definitely a feeling of the abdomen pulling up and back so that you can stay upright. All right, so first just take a slow, soft inhale. And a slow, soft exhale, just to clear the path, prepare yourself. And one more time, slow, soft inhale. Slow, soft exhale. Now extend the pause. And then inhale just up to the bottom ribs and pause. And then inhale again to the middle of the chest, the nipple line, and pause. And inhale again all the way to the top of the chest. And then pin your shoulders back, pull the abdomen up and back. Widen, keep the kidneys wide and lifted as you exhale slowly. The kidneys will stay wide and lifted if the abdominals are supporting the breath and the shoulders stay pinned back. And then take a recovery breath or two. At the end of this exhale, extend the pause. Inhale, abdomen pulls up, the kidneys widen. Pause, inhale to the middle of the chest, about the level of the armpit. Pause, and then inhale all the way up to the top of the chest. Pause there, and then turn the corner for the exhale. A slow, long, soft exhale, keeping the kidneys lifted and broad, shoulders pinned back, abdomen pulls up and back in order to mediate the exhale. Take a recovery breath or two. Slow, soft inhale, slow, soft exhale. Slow, soft inhale, slow, soft exhale, and then extend the pause. Inhale, draw up through the abdomen, pull it up and back, widen the kidneys, pause. Inhale to the middle of the chest, nipple band, pause. Inhale all the way up to the top of the chest. Feel the broadness across the kidneys lifting. And then slow, soft exhale. Keep the kidneys broad and lifting as you exhale. Take a recovery breath or two. And then do some cycles on your own now. So do 4 cycles of Abhyantara Viloma with Ujjayi, with Bahya Ujjayi. So Viloma inhales with Ujjayi exhale. Make sure that the exhales are really thorough. So really empty out your lungs. Feel the diaphragm pulling all the way up as you exhale. And then the accumulation of inhales, the purpose of that is to fill all the lung sacs. So normally when we're just going about our day, we just use part of the lungs. But in pranayama, we can consciously fill all the alveoli. So each layer of the Ujjayi, you're branching outward into the smaller and smaller and smaller alveoli. So it's like an exaggerated inflation of the lungs before you do the slow, long, soft exhale, Ujjayi exhales. Feel the broadness of the kidneys. As you exhale, inhale, the whole trunk expands. The kidney band widens and lifts. And then you maintain that as you exhale by pinning the shoulders back, rolling the upper arm bones out, lifting up through the abdomen, pulling it back. After you've finished your 4 cycles of Viloma Ujjayi, then you can bring your palms down and bring your head back up with your eyes closed. And just sit quietly for a moment. I hope you can feel how the strap is helping you to get more length in the spine. That the framing of the legs, the structure of the legs, the confinement of the legs is to keep that alertness of the spine, that tallness of the spine. So now, turn your palms up, bring your head down. We're just going to do a few cycles of Ujjayi. They call it Ujjayi proper before lying down. So establish the seat. Clear the path with a cleansing breath. Slow, soft inhale. Slow, soft exhale. Extend the pause. And now slow, soft, smooth inhale. Go through all the stages. Touch all the places that you touched in Viloma, but without the breaks now. Just smooth, continuous inhale. Feel the kidney band lifting and expanding, and then slow, soft, continuous exhale. Use the little extension of the arms, the external rotation of the arms, the shoulders pointing back, and the abdomen pulling up and back in order to slow down the exhale. Do 2 more Ujjayi breaths. You can take recovery breaths in between if you need. Slow, soft, smooth inhales. Now all the little alveoli should be awakened so that you can feel them as you inhale. And feel the kidney band lift and expand, and then keep the kidney band lifting and expanding, not to let the kidneys collapse as you exhale. Keep that little boost to the kidney band. After your 3rd cycle, then you can bring your head up and your palms down. Eyes stay closed. All right. So remove your supports. Including your strap. And lie flat on your back to rest. If you want, you could lay your props on top of your thighs, otherwise just rest. So as you rest, you can just feel the effects of this version of the physiological sigh. Animals do it. We do it in our sleep. It's kind of it's a part of the autonomic system. So it's not something that you need to think about. But when we do think about it, then it's a way of working more consciously with our respiration, with our heart. We can slow down and speed up our heart. It does it on its own, but when we're conscious of it, then we can participate in that. We can be kind of a co-creator of our state of mind, state of being, the way we operate in the world. There are times when we need to slow down our respiration and our heart rate when, so for instance, if you're getting into a very intense conversation or debate, there are times when we need to learn how to quiet and calm ourselves. And there are other times when we need to stimulate ourselves. So the breath is the perfect path. Asana and pranayama are extremely effective in cultivating that kind of participatory co-creation of our mental and physical state, physiological state. I will officially end our time now, but you could stay for a few minutes longer if possible. And I will see you all later. Have a wonderful day.